A very good afternoon, friends. Welcome to the Saturday session by Hello Kids. So we are today with a new topic, that is creativity in classroom, and that will be presented by Ms. Shivali Gupta. So let me say some few words about ma'am. Ma'am, welcome to our Saturday session. And ma'am is the founder of the School Code. She is a curriculum expert, and she has a 16 years of experience in working with primary and pre-primary classes. So ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much. A big hello to the entire community of Hello Kids. And a big thank you to Hello Kids for inviting me to speak about a topic I'm so very passionate about. So as she has already introduced, I'm Shivali Gupta. I have founded this company called the School Code, and we transform preschools and primary schools by making them into thinking and creative spaces. We offer curriculum, which is inquiry-based experiential curriculum, and a fully guided, handheld teacher training support to implement the curriculum well in your school. Today, I'm here to talk to you, and I hope after this session, you go back a little more thoughtful about your child's education. Before we begin, I would like all of you to grab a sheet of paper and a tool to write. And meanwhile, I'll just start sharing my screen. So please gather your sheet and a pen or a pencil. And let's try our hands on something. I hope you can see my screen. So we are going to draw 4 of these things today. So I want all of you to draw a hut, draw a sun, draw a flower, and very quickly draw a scenery. So I'll give you a few seconds to do this task while I repeat. So you are going to draw a sun, a hut, a flower, and a scenery. And it's a very, very quick scribble drawing. So don't take too much time. I hope everybody has done drawing all, or at least thought an image in their heads. And we will move on to the next part. For now, you can keep your drawings aside and be with me for next few slides. I have been very deeply inspired by the talks and the writings of Sir Ken Robinson. He has spoken a lot about developing creativity in classroom. And he says that creative thoughts come naturally to humans. We are always, as parents and teachers, anxious about how our children will succeed in this changing world and how will they cope up with the demands of 21st century. As per the survey done by World Economic Forum, the top skill of 21st century is critical thinking skill. Along with critical thinking skill comes the lateral thinking skill, be able to think out of the box, be able to adapt to the changing needs of the environment and circumstances. And in this changing world, there are constant innovations, and you want your kid to be a part of an innovation which will change and make the lives of people better. All of this has one heart center, and that is creativity. Any of this is possible if one thinks creatively. I hope you have heard about these phrases and terms, like written by Sir Ken Robinson. There's a book called Creative Schools, and he spoke immensely about a topic called Schools Kill Creativity. There was a very, very famous TED talk given by him. Then there are terms like unschooling. A very Famous educationist Mark Twain once said, "Don't let schooling interfere with your education." Now, with these terms, what are we talking about? To highlight what I'm talking about, I would like to read a story to you. So here goes the story. Once a little boy went to school. One morning, the teacher said, "Today we are going to make a picture." Good, thought the little boy. He liked to make all kinds of lions and tigers, chickens and cows, trains and boats, and he took his box of crayons and began to draw. But the teacher said, "Wait, it's not time to begin." And she waited until everyone looked ready. "Now," said the teacher, "we are going to make flowers." Good, thought the little boy. He liked to make beautiful ones with his pink and orange and blue crayons. But the teacher said, "Wait, and I will show you how." And it was a red with a green stem. "There," said the teacher. "Now you may begin." The little boy looked at his teacher's flower. Then he looked at his own flower. He liked his flower better than the teacher's, but he did not say this. And he just turned his paper over, made a flower just like his teacher. It was red with a green stem. On another day, the teacher said, "Today we are going to make something with clay." Good, thought the boy. He liked clay. He could make all kinds of things with clay. Snakes and snowmen, cars and trucks, and he began to pull and pinch his ball of clay. But the teacher said, "Wait, it's not time to begin." And she waited until everyone looked ready. "Now," said the teacher, "we are going to make a dish." Good, thought the little boy. He liked to make dishes, and he began to make some. They were all shapes and sizes. But the teacher said, "Wait, and I will show you how." And she showed everyone how to make one deep dish. "There, now you may begin," said the teacher. The little boy looked at his teacher's dish. Then he looked at his own. He liked his better than the teacher's, but he did not say this. He just rolled his clay into a big ball again and made a deep dish like teacher's. And pretty soon, the little boy learned to wait and to watch and to make things just like the teacher. And pretty soon, he didn't make things of his own anymore. Then it happened that the little boy and his family moved to another house in another city, and the little boy had to go to another school. The teacher said, "Today we are going to make a picture." Good, thought the little boy. And he waited for the teacher to tell her what to do. But the teacher didn't say anything. She just walked around the room. When she came to the little boy, she asked, "Don't you want to make a picture?" "Yes," said the little boy. "What are we going to make?" "I don't know until you make it," said the teacher. "How shall I make it?" asked the boy. "Why, any way you like," said the teacher. "And any color?" "Any color," said the teacher. And the boy began to make a red flower with a green stem. So I hope you see how sometimes in the process of teaching something same and uniform to everybody, we kill the natural creativity of children. I will share my screen again. And I want you to look and think about the drawings which you have made. So you made a hut, you made a sun, you made a flower, and you made a scenery, or at least you thought about them. Did any of your drawings resemble any of the drawings given here? I hope we know why. If some of our drawings are resembling and they are similar, we have been taught to think in a certain manner. Are we saying that schools and teachers are not important? No, that's not what we are saying. We are saying that schools and teachers are the backbone of education. A good curriculum is irreplaceable. However, rote learning and standardized tests are not as important as they are giving importance. Abstract and interchangeable skills are the ones which are required in future. And how to develop that is through developing creativity and not letting the natural creativity take a back seat. Again, quoting Sir Ken Robinson, creativity in education is now as important as literacy, and we should treat it with the same status. How creativity helps is that there are better learning outcomes, better engagement by the students, improves the focus, there is less fear and anxiety in children, we have happy learners, and it lays the way for innovation. A survey, I'm sorry it says 100, but a survey of 1,000 educators was done, and it proves these as the results. So many people think that creativity leads to more engaged and confident learners. It helps students get a deeper understanding of subject matter. It lets children take pride and a sense of accomplishment in their work. Children are able to think out of the box and come up with innovative solutions to the problems. How we at the School Code help to nurture creativity is through sharing inquiry-based learning. We do everything using stories and context to learn. We develop and focus on culture of questioning in the classrooms. Besides the normal inquiry topics, we follow inquiry in all subjects, be it math, be it English, be it physical education, be it talking, be it entering, be it doing anything in the classroom. We follow an inquiry methodology, and we help teachers develop a creative and inquiry mindset, because a teacher who has a creative and inquiry mindset only can drive creativity and inquiry in the classroom. I would like to give a few tips to the teachers and to the parents, which you can do with your children to at least start developing creativity and thinking in their minds. For teachers, I have jotted down 3 examples which you can try in your classroom. The first one is you may add a surprise element to the class. Enter with a mystery box, wear an accessory which catches attention, ask children, engage them in a conversation. What do you think I'm holding? Why do you think I'm wearing this? What do you think would be inside this? You can give them clues, you can get them to arrive at the solution or at the answer, and that will generate that kind of curiosity. If whatever is in your mystery box is connected to what you're going to do throughout the day, it is going to engage your learners for a much longer time. Encourage culture of asking questions first, and I would like to highlight, yes, encourage culture of making mistakes. We all make mistakes, and it is very important to make those mistakes. We learn from our mistakes, and a child in a creative classroom should not be ashamed of making a mistake. Rather, they should be able to bounce back and say, oops, I got it wrong. Let me try it again. Can we do that? The third very tangible solution or an example is have a space for honing creativity in your classroom. You can do that by having a curiosity jar. You can see some post-its or some chits put in this jar. You can ask children to keep writing as and when any question come to their mind or any topic which they are very curious about, and ask them to keep putting them in this curiosity jar. Do remember to dedicate a time in the week when you pull out a few chits from this jar and discuss it with children. Or you can have a curiosity wall where you dedicate an open space where children can come and post their questions or topics of curiosity. And again, you can find one day and talk about some of those topics put up on the wall. Try one of these things and you will start seeing a major difference in the way your children respond to what you do in class. For parents, I would like them to follow 3 of these tips. First, do not give answers to all questions. We know that children are naturally gifted with this ability of asking questions. And there are parents who sometimes say that he asks or she asks too many questions. That is good. However, do not start answering the questions directly. Ask them, what do they know about it? Or what do they think about it? And gradually arrive at an answer which is age appropriate. Accept all questions. No question is silly. If they are asking questions, encourage their ability to ask questions. Once you shut it down, and as we saw in the case of curiosity, in the case of creativity, ability of questioning is also natural. We do not have to kill it in the childhood. Rather, we have to hone it so that it remains our best friend as we grow and be ready for life. Also, do not teach them how to solve a problem. Children learn from adults and the way they tackle the problems and things they face in their lives. When you encounter a problem or a situation, show your children how you are thinking, what is going in your mind. Open it out to them, and the way you are juggling between possibilities, and if your children are able to see that, they will learn better rather than them getting a ready-made solution. So this is what I have for today. I want you to remember that creativity is something which comes naturally in children. We do not have to suppress it or kill it. As school, as teachers, and as parents, it is a responsibility to hone those creative skills in a child. And I hope by following some of these tips, we will be able to do that. Thank you so much. I think if there are some questions, we can take the questions at this stage. If there are any questions, you may please type in the comment box and we can take the questions. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes. In case you want to think about it, you want to share your thoughts. If you do not have a question, you can also share with me your thoughts. If there was anything which happened with you, which you want to share at this stage, any thought-provoking incidences which you remembered after listening to the session, you're more than welcome. So we have a question from Aman Anand, that in this pandemic, how can we make our activities more creative in online classes? That's definitely a very, very good question, and that is the need of the hour. I think we have to think of anything which we do. So how when I plan my classes, when I plan the classes for my clients, how we go about is for how long am I going to speak in this session? And am I giving the opportunity for the child to speak? So we start there. Is it a one-way communication? Is it that am I posing a question in the class? How many questions did I ask my children today? And how many of those questions were open-ended questions? I think we'll begin here. And for more, we can definitely connect. You can follow us on our social media pages. You can visit our website and we can talk. It's a very, very deep topic, but it's a very, very relevant one. The next question is from Poonam Dwarke. How do we bring about these steps in an online classes? So I will merge this question with the next question, which is from Suprabha Singh. How can we make curiosity wall in virtual classes? And this is one of the steps which we are talking about in an online class. Curiosity wall, while it seems, or a curiosity jar, while it seems, is a physical thing to do. I think technology has recently connected us so well that anything is possible. And we have seen that in last 1.5 years of pandemic. If there is a will, there is a way. One of the ways can be, again, it depends whether you want it to be public, whether you want the child to just post it to you. While you're in an online class, do give a time, beginning of the class where everybody is checking in, or the end of the class before everybody checks out of the classroom. Ask them to think of a topic or a question which you are thinking about. Can you type it for me? If they are very young children, can their parents type it for us, but they have to tell it to their parents. A teacher can keep a record of all these questions. One fine day, show children a screen or a physical board in their working space, talk about the questions, and start talking about one or two which she wants to talk about on a particular day, or whatever the children want to talk about. So I think once we start thinking how to inculcate creativity in classroom, there are ways, and our mind starts thinking creatively to make all of that happen. And I can assure you that, because that has been a very, very tested and tried method which we have been working on for many years now. Thank you, Mr. Anand. I think if there are any more thoughts which you would like to share at this stage, honestly speaking, I wish I could interact more with you guys, but since it is a very Facebook Live, which we cannot interact, but you can always please write to me. Shilpa Rajpal has said, my kid at home is very active, but outside he's shy as he has been disconnected with the outside world. Again, Shilpa, I think this is one thing which all of us are feeling so deeply about, and children are missing connecting with their peers, engaging in their social life, which is, I think, a very, very sad thing to happen. Unfortunately, we do not have much control, but I would go by your first sentence. My kid is at home is very active. If your child is intrinsically very active, is curious to know about things at home, goes around, works his way out, it's just a matter of time. And trust me, once things will open up, you can see the same personality of the child everywhere. And there is no stopping a child who is active in the mind. I think you guys have been wonderful audience, and there was no option but to listen to me today. And thank you all for staying. I hope you will go back a little more thoughtful about how can we work with the idea of honing creativity in our children. and in our classrooms. Thanks a lot and hope we will meet sometime soon again. Thank you very much.